who should know better, saying that they've heard of roofs being blown off buildings when lime was stored and got a bit wet. This is all nonsense. This is all, you know, obviously you can get burned from this material, but we're never usually in a situation where we're close enough for that to happen. And the bottom line, of course, is that none of the temperatures we're dealing with are any greater, and in most cases less, than temperatures we deal with in the kitchen every day of the week. This is the other point. And there's references in the old text to plasterers putting, you know, making a big pit actually and putting in the lump lime, covering it with the sand, and then sprinkling down through to just let it cook underneath. So I've got, in this one I've got 2 parts of sharp and 1 of chalk. I'm coming to realise that chalk is a magic ingredient, but of course it has that pore structure that David Wiggins is talking about, that micro pore structure, so it adds to the breathability of the mortars to have limestone aggregate in the mixes. This one I'm going to do with the powdered quicklime, so which is what we use most of the time, I have to say. And in this case, I'm just going to mix the two together, mix it all up together. And the moisture in the sand will start the slate straight away, so it starts to get warm immediately. And this is the method we sort of evolved through trial and error, actually. We used to initially put all the water in, and then it would become a stiffened mortar almost. As soon as you turned your back, we had to knock it up again. We found actually by accident, because the water was so far away when I'd done a mix, that if you let it just do its thing with the moisture in the sand and then add the water in, that it gives you straight through to the mortar and it's a much nicer mortar. But so not a lot of heat in there. This bag's been open a while, but it should be fine. I'll just give it a little, this specialist, just give it a little bit of encouragement there. Sorry, this isn't one of my tools, I found it over there.
This is not the gravy, I'm sure.
So we'll leave that one a minute, but this one's, you see, so it's expanded, it's done its thing really, and the slaking is largely complete now, so that's how long it takes, but the temperature's very hot. I mean, we've monitored these over a period of time, and it takes, when we've done with it a little bit, and we've had a temperature maybe of 180, 200 degrees centigrade, it takes over an hour for the temperature to fall below 100 degrees centigrade. So, you know, if any time in the next hour that we mix this, we're mixing something that's hot. But if we start to break that open, you can see we've gone to a dry slake essentially, because I just put in 1.5 rather than 2. Although there is some hidden away in there, not in that case. Yeah, so there's a paste, if you like. That one's gone to what they're talking about, a paste, not the putty that we know. And this is where there might be a little bit of dust drift your way, but there are methods, if you mix with, you don't have to have dust, put it that way. Is this one doing anything? Strange. Alright, we'll leave that one. As I say, that bag's been owned a while, but it has been turned down. I mean, one of the benefits we find with this is that it's highly unlikely to air slate because it's a powder, maybe the top will, but so this is essentially slaked, and that's from the moment it's generally slaked. I mean, but that's a coarse stuff, if you like, that could be laid down, and you can see it doesn't got that hot because that leaf it's still there that was in there in the beginning. And we would then start to add water in, but if that's going to be a dry slake, you can see now we can sieve that through a screen, which is what the brickies would be doing, or plasterers maybe, depending, to get the bigger lumps out and then to mix the rest. But that's still, it doesn't have to be hot in that scenario at all, but it can still be. So I'll start to add the water, but you've got to be a bit careful because we don't want to chill it. See, this one's going now, but what I used to, when I did these days, even a few months ago actually, we used to find, because I've normally got a meat thermometer with me just to show you what's going on here, but we get this would get up to like 180 degrees centigrade, 200 degrees in this state, and then we'd put the water in, it would go, and it would sound just like, you know, when you quench a hot iron in water. And I'd say, that's brilliant. Isn't that brilliant? Espinosa, the Spanish guy I read recently, he says, you mustn't burn the lime. And you know when you burn the lime, because when you add water to it, it makes a sound. I don't need to say the rest, do I?